And welcome everyone back to the Hoops Lounge. This week's episode, we have a lot on tap for you. We're talking about scoring records and three guys who have really jumped into the forefront. A couple of guys setting some records this week alone. On top of that, we have in the post, we have a little Raptors-centric kind of back and forth between that and our Naismith Moment touching on Kelly Olynyk. This week, myself, Phil Boileau, Sporting Phil, my second co-host, Mr. Marc Griffin.
Hi, I'm Mark. So March Madness leads to April sadness.
So many tears. And our third special guest, Mr. Alan Lewis from below the Hardwood. How you doing today?
I'm great. Happy Toronto fan. Obviously, I'm a Raptor fan, not a Leafs fan.
Well, there's a lot of Toronto Raptor fans all over Canada, all over, and actually all over North America and the world. They're starting to become kind of an international success. We're going to dive right into the world of scoring and some guys who have made some noise this week. So we'll start with Mr. Dirk Nowitzki passing to become 11th overall on the NBA scoring list. Now, Mark, maybe we'll kick it off to you just to get the ball rolling. What does this mean and what's the significance? I mean, Dirk came in, he was one of the first kind of international players to, be given like superstar status, and 11th on the overall list, pretty big news.
Yeah, I grew up watching Superstation TBS, which played the Hawks games back in the '80s. So he beat Dominique Wilkins for 11th on the list. Dominique never saw a shot he didn't like. So to see Dirk, a guy coming from Germany, a country that's not known for basketball at all, and one of the most special things about Dirk that makes him unique is that he did not play U.S. basketball. He did not play high school basketball. He did not play college basketball. Something you talk about guys like Hakeem Olajuwon, Steve Nash, they played college basketball in the U.S. Dirk came straight into the NBA. He came into the belly of the beast, and he's been doing it strong. He's 35 years old, and he just keeps ticking. I don't know how he's doing. He's just amazing. He's Dirk, and he's going to keep going down that list.
Exactly. There's a lot of skill there. Now, Alan, being a Raptors fan, I'll throw this back to you. When the Raptors had the #1 overall pick, they drafted one Andrea Bargnani, who was supposed to be the next Dirty Dirk, right? So, I mean, you got to defend these guys to a point. Like, is Dirk Nowitzki, because we keep hearing this, like, the next Dirk, but it never happens. Is Dirk Nowitzki just this anomaly of crazy talent, or do you think this is where NBA big men are going?
Personally, I think Dirk is an anomaly, and I think a lot of teams try to replicate it year after year, trying to get these European bigs, these unsigned hypes that people really didn't know about. And I think when it comes to Dirk, he's just his own entity, and he's so efficient when it comes to the three-point line, all around the key, and all around in his little post move that he created himself. So, to say that there's gonna be another Dirk, I don't think so. And he's only gonna go down the list as his career keeps going on. But personally, I think one KD or LeBron is probably going to knock him off, coming off soon. So he's going to go probably back up to 10 when he's done.
Yeah, no, he's probably gonna jump up that list. I mean, he probably has another 2-3 years of pretty high level basketball in him. So we'll see if he can jump into that top 10 spot, which most people think he will. Now, you brought up two interesting guys, KD and LeBron James. Both these guys really known for scoring the rock, and both setting the records on their own. Mark, do you want to talk about maybe the record that KD has been setting over the last bunch of games, and in some kind of unique company in that role?
Yeah, so he scored 25 points or more in 40 consecutive games, and three guys have done this. Michael Jordan's done it twice, in '86 and '88. Oscar Robertson did it. I think he did 47 straight games, and Wilt Chamberlain did 102 consecutive games. But in the modern era, only Michael's done this. And so KD, man, 25 years old, he's setting his own tone in this league.
Well, they say the NBA and professional sports all about consistency. So 40 games in a row is definitely consistent. Now, Alan, when you're looking at KD, is he right now the league's most efficient scorer? I mean, people talk about Melo, people talk about LeBron, people talk about even Westbrook on his own team. Now, when we're just talking about scoring, forget everything else. Is he the most deadly scorer in the NBA?
I think you have to give it up, honestly, because you got to think about it. Through this streak, he's shooting over 52% from the field. Jordan was shooting only 48%, so you want to come balance it on that. And you're talking about a 7-footer who has quick speed and shoot the three at any point in time. And I know a lot of people would say the modern era and the hand checking and what KD has to go through. But I think KD, he rises to the challenge every single time. Like no matter who defends him, if they put a hand in his chest, he still gets around that and finds a way to score and still drop 25. And it's honestly amazing. We have to like sit back and realize that we're watching greatness right here. And I'm not even a KD fan, and I'm saying these things.
That's true. And what's scary is most games when you watch this guy ball, he gets to like 25, 30, and you feel like he's done nothing. He's just so smooth about it. He'll just walk up, drain a 30-footer. Like he's just ice from everywhere. I think the big advantage this year is he's added that handle. You know, he's always been a good shooter, but now he had a bit of strength. Even though he's still a wiry guy, I feel he's stronger than he was last year, and he just gets to the basket. I was watching this video on the science of basketball. They're talking about Andrew Wiggins, how he can get to the basket from the three-point line in 2 steps. The only other guy was KD who can do that, which is a huge advantage, right? Because if you pump fake from 3, which you can nail at will, and you can get to the rim in 2 steps, you gotta be one of the most lethal scorers.
And also watch out for Greek Freak. He can do that too. I mean, these guys are amazing.
Yeah, well, he's we heard before how the Raptors are trying to trade for him on draft night, but I guess this is one thing the Milwaukee Bucks did right, so we'll give them credit for that one.
My biggest thing is, can anyone pronounce his name?
No.
I feel it's an insult to even try. I can barely pronounce my own name. I wouldn't even go that way. And the last guy we're talking about score is the guy right behind me, Mr. LeBron James, the youngest player ever to reach 23,000 points. Now, obviously LeBron James has a couple years on Kevin Durant, but the question to me, because LeBron James, ever since he got in the league, has been averaging at least 20. He's just been doing this consistently. And people talk about consistent points. Like, he's not a big scorer. Like, he'll get his 60 here and there, but he normally is between that 25 and 33 range. Now, Mark, we'll throw it back your way. When it's all said and done, who do you think has more points in their career, KD or LeBron James?
Well, I mean, I want to speak to this 23,000-point thing first, because you have to look at total games played. A lot of the guys, like Michael and these guys in past eras, played 3-4 years of college basketball and came in the league when they were 21, 22. LeBron came straight out of high school, so you have to look at total games played, and so there's actually 27 guys who've scored that many points sooner than LeBron has. But one thing that's very interesting is that another guy who came straight out of high school and jumped right in the league, Kobe Bryant, took a year longer than LeBron has. So that's something interesting to look at. But sorry, what was the question again?
Okay, so I was wondering who at the end of their careers is going to amass more total points, Kevin Durant, LeBron James?
Man. Injuries aside, I'm going to go KD.
KD, even though we played that 1-year college LeBron had right out of high school?
He's just a scoring machine, yeah.
Are you going to agree with him, Alan, or are you going to support the king on this one?
I got to go king on this, to be honest. I think like LeBron, the difference between LeBron scoring and KD scoring, LeBron scoring is like he scores when he needs to. He's more about getting the wins and W's. And I think over a couple of years he's matured on that respect. I don't think KD, like the way KD scores, he feels like he has to score in order for his team to win. He doesn't. I don't see him really using his teammates as much as he should. And I think over the years, like he's going to realize if he doesn't win the championship this year, he's got to kind of reevaluate everything that he's maybe taking as many jumpers. I don't think necessarily he has the longevity as LeBron James will.
It's interesting because obviously when you look at KD, he just kind of worries an injury waiting to happen, being so frail. But at the same time, you got LeBron James playing 40-something minutes every night. Olympics, been playing since he was in high school, so he has a lot of miles on those legs. And even though he's high stepping back here, I'm sure he's icing those knees after every game. Now, is it kind of unfair that Carmelo Anthony, maybe Alan, I'll throw it back to you this way, that Carmelo Anthony's not ever in this conversation? Like, he seems to be one of the best scorers in the league. He's on a team that's on a bit of a streak, but he always just gets, the scraps in these kind of conversations. He's a great scorer in his own mind. Like, how come Melo doesn't get the love these guys do?
Up until this year, I would have said Melo was the greatest scorer in the league. He can hit you inside out, and he gets his offensive rebounds, and he's a big bully. He actually cut down some weight, and he's still kind of a truck in there in the key. But he's always been that second in command, always to LeBron ever since like the high school times when he was playing at Oak Hill. But now I think KD is just completely surpassing because KD does not want to be number 2 anymore, and he's fighting for it now. When you look at the Knicks and what they're doing, and they're struggling, and when you're in the limelight, like he put himself in that position, to be honest. He put himself to be underneath the microscope. And I think he kind of brought it upon himself. Like he doesn't win. He scores. That's what he does. And when you're just that one-trick pony, people get real, get real bored of what you're doing.
That's true. And Mark, speaking of getting W's, who do you think is the most out of? You can even throw in Carmelo Anthony, considering how bad they are. Who's the most important guy to their team out of those three guys we mentioned: LeBron, Durant, Melo? Because they all have their various skill sets, but who really take them out of that team? Who would suffer the most?
I mean, the Knicks are already suffering, so I'm not even going to put them in that equation. I would say Miami, because with OKC, Westbrook can step up, and they have a very good core, whereas Miami is just kind of a bunch of ailing parts right now, and it's very much LeBron's team. I said it on NBA TV Canada. I still think OKC Westbrook very much is leading that team behind the scenes. So KD's an amazing talent, but I think OKC could still maybe make the playoffs without him, to be honest.
It's a pretty good. It's a good argument, and the thing is, I think Russell Westbrook, like the best argument for what you're saying is Russell Westbrook, aside from 5 teams in the NBA, he'd be their best player, and I don't think that's even much of an argument. Like, you throw him on Milwaukee, Atlanta, even Toronto, he'd be their best player right away. So like, people are sleeping on him because he happens to be playing with another top 5 talent, but it's not really his fault. And we saw when they get to click together, they really start dominating. Now, Alan, we're looking at 23,000 points. We're looking at KD getting his 25 points over 40 games. Do you think either one of these has the chance to really just be number one overall, like surpass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Just be at that elite level and ever reach that milestone?
I think when it's all said and done, we're gonna look at LeBron's career and be like, wow, he was one of the top, whatever players of all time. KD, I'm not completely sold. Like, he is a freak of nature when it comes to scoring, and he can just get it when he wants. But personally, I think he needs to ditch Russell Westbrook. I think that team runs way more efficient, and I like what I'm seeing way better with ball movement when Russell Westbrook's not in the picture. I'd rather see him maybe toss him out for a couple pieces and get him a legitimate center, so we can actually have somebody to throw down in the blocks to.
Oh, he's sleeping on Steven Adams now? Come on now.
Oh, I like Adams.
I have some New Zealand basketball friends and Australian basketball friends out there. They'd love me to say that. I'm not a fan of Steven Adams. Okay. I think it's the eyebrows. I think that's what turns me off. It kind of scares me.
I don't know. Like, I wasn't a fan of his before. I was kind of a fan, but then when he took that elbow from Vince Carter and just didn't flinch, because he used to play rugby in New Zealand, he's just this tough guy. But you know what? I actually agree with you. I think they play better with Reggie Jackson. I actually really like how Reggie Jackson holds it down in that backcourt. He's long. He doesn't make as many mistakes. Now, I think Westbrook's more dynamic, but do you think the Thunder's long-term kind of winning would come with Westbrook jumping ship? And if you trade him, do you trade him for a big name? Because I've been saying for a while they should just go to Minnie and say, hey, Kevin Love's going to walk. I'll give you Westbrook. Just give me Kevin Love. We'll stick you with Durant and Ibaka and have fun winning rings. Or do you trade him for pieces to kind of fit around because you're paying decent money to Ibaka and Durant already and you don't want to mess with that chemistry? Which way do you think you would go if you had to trade Westbrook?
Well, Sam Presti, like he believes in that core, so I don't know if he's actually going to do it, but I think if he were, I think he should go for pieces. Pieces around Kevin Durant would be amazing. If he actually had, like, if you talk about their bench is just stepping up. They're not necessarily on paper a really good bench, so if they actually were on paper a decent bench and they actually stepped up, like it's going to be astronomical what they can actually accomplish.
Yeah, no, I think it could be a big thing that way. Now, Mark, we'll go back to LeBron James with you. After this season, obviously he can opt out. So can a lot of the other guys. They haven't decided yet. For LeBron James's career, in terms of maybe not only scoring but becoming, as you guys have said, that dominant best player ever possibility, where do you think his future best lands? Because he's going to get his money anyways, as LeBron James. But do you think he stays in South Beach, Chicago, New York? Where do you think is his best spot?
I mean, we talked a bit about this a few weeks ago. I mean, he can sign and trade theoretically with any team in the league. But I have a feeling, a hunch, he'll stay with Miami, but I would absolutely love to see him in the Big Apple.
I would too. And there's this sneaking part of me that I don't think egos would allow for it, but I would really, if Miami was convinced that they would get rid of LeBron James or have to trade him, wouldn't it be funny to have Russell Westbrook being packaged back for him, and so Miami gets their starting young point guard, future, even throw in, dare I say it, Steven Adams, and and then you get LeBron and KD. I mean, maybe it doesn't work, but if you're Miami, you know you're going to lose LeBron James. Westbrook's not a bad guy to pull back. Do either one of you guys think that Miami even entertains the idea of trading him, or they just they stick till the end, and if he walks, he walks?
I think that's what you have to do when you have LeBron James. You know, you just got to see what he wants to do, and you got to prepare for the worst, obviously. But when it comes, I don't think they're really going to package either him or Wade. I think Wade's just he's stapled into Miami. So I think when you look at the pieces that are going to be moving, Chris Bosh is probably the obvious choice. And what you can get from him, I don't know at this point in time in his career. He has stepped it up big this year, and he is definitely a Hall of Famer in my books. So see what you can get for him, and see if you can just keep this the glue the LeBron and Wade combo, and see what you can get from them.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been our wrap up of the big scores and big news in the NBA. Next, we have our In the Post. Mark, you want to give a little rundown of what we're doing there?
Yeah, this is very simple. I have a 24-second shot clock here. I'm going to ask these guys 6 questions each, and these are real questions. They have not seen them before. A bunch are from Phil, a bunch are from me. And I'm going to put you guys on the clock to answer each question. Of course, because we have Alan Lewis in from Toronto, from below the Hardwood, we're going to have some Raptors questions because the Raptors are playing amazing basketball right now. So we got to represent. So, Alan, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to throw you your first question. Will Ujiri make wholesale changes of this team during the summer like Houston did, or are they going to stick with the core?
I think, well, when you said Tim Lewicki said they're keeping Kyle Lowry. So after they told me they're going to keep Kyle Lowry, I don't think how many crazy changes they're going to do. I know with the whole thing with Drake, they can attract some new free agents and, kind of solidify some pieces. Obviously, a big man or someone who can dump it into the post. But I think necessarily you're going to see the same core. Just a couple could be guys here and there.
Okay, Phil, your response?
I think he has to be thinking of packaging those pieces, kind of like they're doing in Houston. I don't think with what they have, it's enough. I think they need to bring in that real superstar. I think they have a lot of great second options. I think they're packaging talent for a big guy.
All right, so question 2. This one I'm going to throw to Phil first. Which Canadian is most likely to be playing in a Raptors uniform next season?
Which Canadian? I'll say Kelly Olynyk, even though I don't think there's a big chance any of these guys show up. I just think an inside presence who can score. I think they have too many point guards. I mean, if they could somehow land Ennis in a draft, but I think it's got to be Olynyk if you have to pick one.
All right, Alan, Canadian on the Raptors?
I'm going to just go with my heart here and just say Nick Stauskas. I would love to see the bad boy come in there from Mississauga and just tear it up in the Raptors uniform. I would love to see him. He's got outside presence. He's a great shooter. And I just think, the city would be bolstered to have an actual Canadian from the local area in the Raptors uniform.
I agree. Don't count out Sinbula right there. Okay, Phil. Alan, question number 2 for you. Will Kyle Lowry command $13+ million in this offseason? Would you sign him, or would you sign Vasquez for $6 or $7 million per year?
To be honest, that's a hard one because when you're talking about Kyle Lowry and Vasquez, they're 2 pieces of the same coin. They help the team out so much. So I would first give money to Lowry because I feel like you have to lock him up because other teams will.
All right, Phil, your response?
I think when you look at that, I see Kyle Lowry at 28 years old and only having produced for 1 year. I'm not going to call myself a hater, but this is a contract year. I don't know if I could throw a 5-year deal at a guy who's 28 years old and has only done it in a small period. I like what Vasquez brings to the table. I think you save that money, save it for JV, save it for some front court at free agent help.
All right. So question number 4. I'm going to throw this at Phil. How much praise should Brian Colangelo be receive for this team's success this season?
I think a fair bit. I think he's drafted all right. I mean, I think it's all in Ujiri, because if you look at what Colangelo did when they had Rudy Gay, they weren't that good. But Ujiri understands chemistry. The guys they brought over, it's addition from subtraction, right? So I would give him like 20 to 25%. Not too
right.
much.
Alan, Colangelo, praise?
I give him a big donut. I have to. Honestly, this is Ujari and the analytics of basketball right here. We're seeing this is scientific because if you look at it, this team isn't really that strong. They shouldn't be, but they're producing out there, looking like kind of the old Pistons of Chauncey Billups' day almost.
You guys are fast today. Okay, so question, Alan. This question's for you. Who has been the Raptors' front court MVP this season? JV, Amir, or Patterson?
I gotta give it to Pat, man, coming off the bench, hitting those big shots here and there. He solidified. He gives like the second unit legitimacy, to be honest. And it was really obvious in that little spurt we were missing him that a lot of those games we actually needed a big man in there who can spread the floor and hit those threes.
Phil, who's the Raptors' front court big man MVP?
I'm so happy you said that. Patrick Patterson for me. Underrated in Houston, underrated in Sacramento. This guy can flat out ball. He's a good size, can stroke from the three inside, can rebound fairly well. People look at his rebounding numbers, kind of sleep on it. That's because he's outside. He's a legitimate stretch forward, team game, low contract. I think this guy, as soon as he came back, had made up for injuries.
All right, and so the final question of In the Post today, I'm going to go to Phil first. Should Vince Carter's jersey be hanging at the Raptors in the Air Canada Center?
Oof. Good question. I'm going to say it hurts me to say as a fan, but yes, he helped build the brand. He helped. I think if he was never around, how would people even have known about the Raptors? He was so crucial in those building years. I hate what he did. Not a big fan of him as a person, but as a brand, you have to.
Alan?
Yes. I love Vince Carter. I love what he did for the city. And what we have to do, we have to give him the respect he deserves. He is the foundation that he laid upon here in Toronto. People here in Toronto started playing basketball because they're seeing Vince Carter. And you know what? It shows a good message to every other single free agent that when you come here in Toronto, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you very well.
Okay, so it looks like Toronto's forgiving Vince.
Doing well.
Never.
All right.
I love him still.
Exactly. He's a tough guy not to love. He brought so much excitement to the team, Superman, Vinsanity, all that. But all right, so thanks for fighting in the post. That was another fun back and forth. Mark, we have our Naismith moment, Kelly Olynyk style. What do you have on tap for us this week?
Yeah, so this week I'm talking Kelly Olynyk. So basically, for the Naismith Moment, I look at hardwood history, culture, and the Canadian game in honor of Dr. James Naismith. And so I got to see Kelly Olynyk play earlier this season. I've been saying this all year long. He is a sneaky, sneaky good rookie center, big man, whatever you want to call him. He's very much kind of a stretch four. I saw him play last night against the Pistons, and the broadcasting team in Detroit were calling out his name every 5 minutes or every 2 minutes. I mean, it's like, he'll throw the hockey assist, he'll set the pick that opens up the shot, he'll get the rebound, he'll draw the charge. He does everything. You can tell he's a coach's son. He just has a really, really high basketball IQ. The last month he's been having games where he's having 14 points, 11 boards, stuff like that, all over the place, and he's averaging an assist and a half a game, which is pretty unheard of for a rookie center. I mean, Joakim Noah didn't even do that at his age. And one thing that was really interesting is that Brad Stevens trusts him enough at the end of the games is that he will throw the inbounds pass in the clutch to get the ball going. And the only other team that does that is San Antonio with Tim Duncan. So, he has a lot to grow, a lot of development to do. I mean, people compare him to Dirk, something we've been mentioning all along. But he's got a lot of skill sets. He's very polished for a young big, and I see him being an all-star in this league. So as long as he keeps growing, I mean, obviously he has a lot of playing time in Boston. It'd be great to see him playing in Toronto, but he's got a lot going for him, and so watch out for Kelly Olynyk.
That'll be a pretty weird front court, him and JV up front. I think the long hair and the crazy Lithuanian. It'd be fun, though, bring the national respect. All right, so that's been our Naismith Moment. Now, just before we go here, it's been another fun show. We just want to give everyone a shout-out to what's going on. Now, first, we're going to give Mr. Alan Lewis the first shot at this. You want to tell the people a bit about what you do, what your site is, what they can look forward to, and anything else?
Yeah, cool. My name is Alan Shane, so I do comedy as well. I'm also part of Below the Hardwood, so you can check us out at belowthehardwood.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at BTH on NBA. I respond to everybody. Also, you can go to my personal fan page on facebook.com/Alan Shane, or you can go to facebook.com/ Below the Hardwood. If you want to hit us up there, we can continue the conversation as well.
Cool, cool. All right, and Mark, what are you looking forward to this week?
Well, first off, I got to mention that we actually have the winner of our March Madness bracket contest. This is crazy. Cool. This is crazy, and we had 21 participants because now, we had 3 people going head-to-head at the end. I got to bring up the names just one second because this is pretty amazing. So I'll go from 5th to 1st because it was really tight. Christopher Walder got 5th place with 69 points. Then Peyton had 4th with 71, and then Cedric LaRouche and his girlfriend Mary Claude were going head-to-head. Cedric got 3rd place, and Mary Claude picked Wisconsin to be in the finals. They missed a shot at the buzzer, so she got 2nd place to Dan Mitchell. So Dan Mitchell, with his bracket was called My Victorious Bracket, has won a T-shirt by our sponsor Pure Hoop, and it's purehoop.bigcartel.com. So you can pick out a T-shirt from them. Dan, congratulations. And Mary Claude, we're going to have you on in the post to battle head-to-head with us. And so I want to congratulate everyone for being part of the March Madness contest. As I said, it's April Sadness now, but we do have the finals matchup tomorrow night. And also, I have to say this, Alan, I saw you guys in one of your videos recently playing some I'm going to call it basketball. I don't know what's going on there. So I want to challenge you to a 3-on-3 between Hoops Lounge and Below the Hardwood sometime, man.
I am 100% down.
We're in.
We have to let the guests win. That's kind of the thing we do. Okay? What other excuses can I say? The sun was in my eyes. There was wind going on. I had a cold. Everything. No. I'm a retired baller. I used to be playing a lot back in the day, and just coming into that gym, it was looking at the video, I look like I've never seen a basketball in my entire life. It looked all brand new to me. So. Plus, there's editing too and CGI, so you know how it goes, right, guys?
So that's officially a yes to a 3-on-3 then?
Oh yes, any point in time. We can do it in Montreal, we can do it in Toronto, we can do it on the border if you want to, whatever you guys are down for.
Perfect. That would be so funny if there was some court that was actually like on the border of Quebec and Ontario. We just both repped each other's sides.
Right on once, the courts.
Sick. Well, for myself, always we have my Wednesday little wrap up off the wire where we go through the top 5 articles of the week. So I've been going through a few little back and forth on the design of that. As always, you can hit us up anytime on hoopslounge.com. Go to contributors. You can find myself, Moda, Mike, Mark, and any of our Twitter handles, Facebook accounts. We love to hear from you. If you guys want to hear some topic ideas for any shows coming up, please let us know, and we'll be happy to give you a shout out on air. And as always, I want to thank co-host Mr. Mark, and great third co-host for today's show, Mr. Lewis. Alan, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Honestly, thank you guys. Pleasure is all mine for being here with you guys. It was a really cool experience, I have to say.
Thanks a lot, man. We'll do this again. And all of you guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time in the lounge.
See ya.